I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here I share legal and entertainment news from a psychological perspective. I saw this case. I started paying attention to it today. I'm also watching the verdict in the Bree Con case, and I'm planning to cover that one tomorrow. In this case, the defendant's behavior has been a little odd, and so I wanted for us to talk about it. Let me know if y'all have questions about this case. I am I was surprised by some of the stuff I saw today. So, for anyone that has not followed this case at all, the defendant's name is Toby Madden, and this is a case out of Ohio. And so, spoiler warning. So, he was charged with, I believe, first degree murder. I'm almost positive that's what he was charged with. We are going to watch the verdict be read a little bit later because court TV was able to go back because he was not in the courtroom when they read the verdict because of his behavior right before all of this. He was so explosive, so explosive. I was just in awe of everything. Welcome to everybody joining this pop-up stream. So I normally do not stream on Friday. On Fridays, I had an opening in my schedule, and I wanted to talk about this one. So he was charged in the stabbing death of his girlfriend at the time, 50-year-old Rochelle, and she was stabbed 55 times inside their home in October of 2022. Now, I don't know if I even need to give a trigger warning, but like he exhibited some kind of strange. So he's going to be crying while the expert is showing pictures of his girlfriend, but yeah. So we're going to watch it and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. The volume on this might be a little loud. So we'll see.
Taras Volkachev arrives next.
What do you request of Officer Taras?
Volkachev. Volkachev.
Okay, yes.
I asked him to stay with the defendant and keep him where he was at while I cleared the house so that EMS was safe.
Okay. What were you concerned? Why did you want to clear the house to make sure that EMS was safe?
Well, at this time, I did not know if there was anyone else left in the house that possibly could have done this to her.
Okay. It's your way of making sure that EMS is safe?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we've seen different types of behavior with defendants on the stand. So we have seen people show no emotion, and there are claims that are they really showing remorse? Like, are they grieving? You hear that because I did talk about that with Carly Gregg. Melanie Little did an interview with Carly Gregg's a female lawyer. And then I also saw an interview with Carly Gregg's birth father. I want to say that was on Court TV. I could be wrong. All the things. I did link that in one of the pinned comments over on my Carly Gregg video. I linked the article and the review from the father. And I think he talked to a news station. I think it was a news station that was local. So I think he's trying to, I don't know if this was for the jury. I don't know what, and seeing the pictures might have been disturbing or distressing. This was also the mother of one of his children. He's reaching for tissues, but he's really hiding his face. And often, like when you cry, you do hide your face. It felt staged to me personally. Now, I am a psychologist. I'm not his psychologist. So I can't say exactly what's going on for him. We just talk about these general mental health topics and mental health things. He gives off some antisocial, pathological kind of traits to me. And we will see that later when he's not happy with his lawyer and he starts talking about his lawyer. And it would be shame. It doesn't feel authentic to me. And that's just me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, but it didn't feel authentic to me personally. That's just me. I don't know. And I don't know. We'll see.
Tell us what it is as you're going through the house and some of the observations you made.
When I entered first, the paramedics and firefighters had asked me to
And the fact that everybody is just ignoring him during this time, does that make like everybody's just talking and carrying on as though he's not doing all of that?
unplug.
Who else arrives at the scene?
All right. So that was that part. Now, like I said, I did not cover all of this trial. I saw a report that he was upset that he hadn't had a shower in 3 days. And so I think he got upset in court about that. He just sounds like he's just kind of emotionally like he doesn't manage his emotions well at all. And yeah. All right. So here's a video, and I have the full link down in the description. Let me zoom out some. I don't know. Am I sharing? Yes, I'm sharing this tab. It looks weird to me for some reason. All right. Uh-oh. All right. So let me just make sure, see what speed it's on. It's on normal speed. So now we are going to watch. The state is going to, because the state presented their closing, his lawyer presented his closing, the state came back for rebuttal, and so the jury is in the room and he's going to do this. So let's watch.
Okay,
Exhibit
jurors, I'm
number
going to ask you to return the jury room.
Exhibit 66 is a stick in there. And I also, if you look at the video of them questioning me down at the police station.
So he is yelling stuff to the jury right now. Yelling. He is yelling stuff to the jury, which is just what? I don't think I've ever seen a defendant do this. And his poor lawyer is just like is just sitting there.
Station. If you look at it, they asked me, how did the blood get in the sink? I told them that there was blood on my face after I was doing CPR, and I told them that I went to the sink.
At this time.
Look at state number, exhibit number 66. Ask for it back there and see. There's a stick right there. They won't. There's plenty of things they won't bring to you. Ask for it. Right?
You can give that. Okay, now.
Right?
Okay, so
I know you're not commenting.
the court is not going to tolerate.
So he just said something to his lawyer. All right. So he just said something. I'm going to go back because he says something to his lawyer.
Won't bring to you. Ask for it. Right?
You can give that. Okay, now.
Right?
Okay, so
I know you're not commenting.
the court is not going to tolerate. Let me get back on from there.
You're not, listen,
All right,
what
we're
you're
going
not
to
going
move
to
to
do
the
is I'm not
defendant to
going to
the
sit
upstairs
here
for
and
revocation and
allow
take a
you
recess.
to.
Thank you.
This is what you did the last time went on.
Like that was completely inappropriate, and the judge ends up coming back. And I want to see if this is okay. So I want to go back because I have another video queued up of when she brought in the officer, because they're going to talk about why he is not going to be in the room when the verdict is read. So let's go back to his little outburst because Court TV cut it a little short. It was actually it was a little worse than that. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so let's go back. Let's watch this little outburst one more time. And yeah, I don't have closed captioning. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I got that notification that I lost connection to my audio. So let me stop share. And let me share my audio again. And when StreamYard, when I get that notification, I know that it's right. It means that they really have lost connection with the audio. So we're gonna watch this little outburst. So this is from Law and Crime. I have the full links to all of this down in the description.
Told them
We're
that I
gonna
went
take
to
a
the scene.
recess at this time.
Look at state number, exhibit number 66, ask for it back there and see. There's a stick right there. They won't, there's plenty of things they won't bring to you. Ask for it. Right?
You can go get there. Okay, now we're
Right.
done. Okay, so.
I know you're not commenting.
So he just said right to his lawyer. And then the lawyer said no comment back to him. And this is his reaction to his lawyer.
The court is not going to tolerate, let me get back on.
You're not, listen,
All right,
what
we're
you're
going
not
to
gonna
move to
do
the
is I'm not
defendant to
gonna
the
sit
upstairs
here
room
and
location and
allow
take a
you
recess.
to.
Thank you.
This is what you did the last time went on.
So they cut the audio, but he keeps going. He keeps saying something, and they're gonna bring, I think, one of these officers that was right here. They're gonna bring somebody back to talk about what they overheard him say. He's like, "You got something to say?" He's saying that to the other person. Like, it's just,
Okay.
you don't do this type of stuff in a courtroom. You just don't do stuff like this. I guess so. He was not happy with his lawyer, and he mentioned it earlier. Okay, so we're gonna go out of order. Let me see, because I think it's right about here. So he is not happy with his lawyer, and he's gonna talk about why he's not happy with his lawyer. He gives menacing looks to me. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all think he gives menacing, like the looks he was giving his lawyer, the looks he's giving other people, and he's on trial for an aggressive crime. And it's a really bad idea if you're on trial for an aggressive crime to look aggressive. Like, it's just such not a good idea. That's the plainest way I can say it. Okay, so let's hear. So this was earlier. The jury is out of the room. They're just kind of doing some housekeeping stuff, checking in with where things are because the state hasn't rested. So the state is about to rest, and they're asking the defense, "Are you going to call any witnesses?" And his lawyer says, like, I talked, like, he doesn't want me to call his brother because the defense wanted to call his brother. So he presented no defense. And it's correct. So it's the state's job to prove the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. So the defense does not have to present a defense, but it sounds like his lawyer wanted to present something. And it's Toby, right? Y'all know me in names. Yes, Toby. Toby said he did not want to bring up his brother, and they didn't really think the neighbor was going to have more to add, and he said he was not going to testify. But then he starts trying to yell stuff from over on the side of court because he knows he can't be cross-examined. So I think the reason why he didn't want to get on the stand was because he didn't want to be cross-examined. Okay, we're gonna go back and watch this part. And I'm holding my head because it's just like, because this is how I was watching it earlier. I was like, what am I watching? And anytime I have that reaction, I'm like, I have to talk with my community about this because what is this?
Did note that Mr. Madden's decision, he just put on the record to not testify, obviously the language of him not testifying needs to be in the instruction.
That is.
Oh, because we had it in
It
that he
says
would.
defendant
Yes,
does
sir.
testify, so obviously there needs to be language about him not testifying and except the standard language.
Yes, sir.
Use that against, so.
Thank you for that.
Your Honor, if I can just add one more thing. I've asked him multiple times to subpoena some information that would show how this all started, and he's refused over a period of months. He's told me to my face that he's not going to subpoena the information, and that if I try, he said later on, you're just going to have to file an appeal. But I'm not, for the same reason that the neighbor that was next door to us the mayor, the one who robbed the bank, you know, there was on record, you know, that she was saying that me and Rochelle both were great neighbors, and I don't look like somebody that would be a murderer. And, you know, she was happy to have.
He wanted to introduce the fact that somebody said he doesn't look like a murderer. This is why you have attorneys. Like, there isn't a certain look of like there isn't a certain look. Like, he did a thing and he wanted somebody to get up there and say he was a good neighbor. They let him like what? I'm gonna back it up because that's what he said. I'm gonna back it up a little. Okay.
The mayor, the one who robbed the bank, you know, there was on record, you know, that she was saying that me and Rochelle both were great neighbors, and I don't look like somebody that would be a murderer. And, you know, she was happy to have us. And she let me use the phone all these different times to call while we still were living. But he thought that wasn't sufficient enough evidence for the jury to hear. And I thought it was. He
It
said,
wasn't
but
sufficient.
if you try to bring that forth, I'm gonna make sure that she shuts it down. Why would he have you shut that down? I don't understand, but listen, you've made a ruling. There's plenty of things that I thought that needed to come out. For example, when I asked to ask the detective, this someone right here, when he ran down the hallway after I was beat up on March the 27th and taken down 2 hallways, dragged out of my
I don't know what you're
shoes,
talking about.
down to the bottom of the basement inside a cell. You can hear me screaming out. Why did he leave this courtroom and run
But what does this have to do with your crime? I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
down 2 hallways? Why did he come up to my, what did he say to me? What, he goes, I don't. And then, you know, when I said, hey, ask him if he knows Rochelle's niece who works at the front desk at the Hamilton Police Department in the same building that he works at. I just asked him if he know how well he knows her. He refused to do that. So there's so many things that I thought that I just wanted to put on the record. And and that's all I had to say right now.
So he kind of reminded me of Tellus without the like law degree. Because he's over here talking a whole bunch of stuff, but he doesn't know what he's saying. And I like watching defense attorneys, and I like how Sarah Boone's former lawyers and even the judge explained to her, you consult with the lawyer, but you don't get to tell the lawyer what to do. Like, you can't say, like, y'all can talk strategy, but ultimately the lawyer knows the law. And he seems like he wants control. And he's even like this isn't going to be fruitful with the judge.
Is there anything else, Mr. Wilder?
Judge, I'm not going to respond to the allegations because if I were to do that, I would be breaking attorney-client privilege, and I'm not going to do that at this point. I'm prepared to argue this case as best I can based on the limited discussion we've had about the case. Despite my many efforts, meetings with him, not having a lot of information about the situation that occurred has limited me, but I'll just leave it at that.
Well, one other thing, you know that on March 27th, about near 9 a.m. 2024, I was brought in here in the afternoon, probably sometime. Most of the time I had hearings that were in the afternoon, 3:15, 1:45, times that my family didn't even know that because times weren't being logged on the computer when I was having court. So nobody could be here. I was brought up with no other.
And then his complaints about not knowing when his hearings are, it kind of reminded me of Sarah Boone a little. It just did.
I was always, and woken up out of my sleep, said, hey, you got a court date today. Having hearings without me there. But I was in the jury box and I said, hey, they were wanting to have a proceeding with me while I was inside there. And I said, I protested. I said, hey, listen, I'd like to be at the desk. so that I could go on record. Because if at any time that there's been a proceeding or a hearing here, if you haven't heard my voice, then you can sure be 100% know for a fact that I wasn't there,
So he's upset that he wasn't in court. And then so the judge, because there's nothing the judge can do about any of this. So then the judge is going to have to come on the record later and have somebody testify just to explain why he's not going to be physically in the courtroom when the verdict is read. So his big outburst was right before his case was getting sent back to the jury. And I think he was desperate and he just wanted, but to me, it made him look more guilty. Like it didn't look good.
And I'd like to ask Sergeant Owens to please take the witness stand. Sergeant, would you please state your name?
Sergeant Jason Owens.
And what is your occupation, sir?
I'm a sergeant with the Butler County Sheriff's Office.
And what are your present duties?
I'm the supervisor over court security.
And Sergeant, in your capacity, did you have the opportunity to go to the remote location where Mr. Madden is viewing these proceedings?
Yes, I did.
And at any point while you were present with Mr. Madden, did he make any statements that caused you concern about his return to this courtroom?
Yes, he advised his attorney that if he were not wearing restraints, or I'm sorry, that his attorney was lucky that he was currently wearing restraints, implying that he would inflict physical harm if he were not.
And did Mr. Madden advise in your presence whether he even wanted to return to this courtroom?
He advised my personnel that he did not wish to return.
All right, very well. Anything on behalf of the state?
There you are.
Okay, Mr. Wilder, any questions that you have?
No.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant. You may step down. In light of
So they were just describing why he wasn't going to be in the jury room for the actual verdict. Now let's get back to court TV because they actually shared his reaction to the verdict. And so I'm going to play this part.
2121675. Mr. Burst and Mr. Hahn are present on behalf of the state of Ohio, and Mr. Wilder is present on behalf of Mr. Madden. Mr. Madden is appearing remotely at another location in this building, and he is able to hear these proceedings. Okay, so I've been advised that the jury has a verdict. However, some concerns were brought to my attention during the recess that I'd like to address at this time. And I'd like to ask Sergeant Owens to please take the witness stand. I'm going to continue to have Mr. Madden participate in the proceedings outside of this courtroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
I was muted all this time. The jury deliberated for like an hour. I love judges with nice hair. My favorite is Judge Duro. Judge Duro's curls. I'm gonna fast forward a little.
Defendant Toby Madden guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. The verdict form is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Verdict form 2, with the jury being duly impaneled, find the defendant Toby Madden guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. The verdict form is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Verdict form 3, we the jury being duly impaneled find the defendant Toby Madden guilty of felonious assault as charged in the indictment. The verdict form is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. And finally, verdict form 4, we the jury being duly impaneled find the defendant Toby Madden guilty of felonious assault as charged in the indictment. And the verdict form is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Okay, does the state of Ohio wish to have the jury?
And he just sat there, not react with like minimal reaction. There was another video where I'm gonna try to find that one real quick. Let me know if y'all have any general questions about this one. There was another video where he gave a statement trying to say he was sorry. Okay. And it was right before he was going to be sentenced. He gives a statement talking about that he's sorry. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. Uh so I think because he made the threat, so he asked to not be in the room, and uh I don't know if he had leg shackles. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think the jury probably couldn't see him. I don't know. I don't know. Virginia, are you getting any rain? We don't have any rain in Fredericksburg yet. I'm hoping I miss the rain on my way home. Let me share my screen because he's going to make a statement. Okay. My heart breaks for his family. Yes, because he's already been sentenced. And so this was his sentencing, and he is going to make a statement to the court. And so I wanted to play that. Here we go. Let's go.
Technology specialist to please unmute the video feed. And Mr. Madden, if there's anything that you'd like to say on your own behalf, you're welcome to say it at this time.
Well, I would like to say something, Your Honor. I found it. I'm truly sorry to my family, to Michaela, Sherry, Ginger, Morgan, Megan, Maya, little Megan, Maya, Morgan, and Kim, Alex, Brandon, John, and all of her friends, Carlita, Christy, Dawn, and I told Mr. Wilder that I'm responsible, that I committed this offense. And I told him how, and I told him what happened. I went into detail, and I told him what happened, and for some reason he chose.
So I feel like right now, because he said I'm sorry to my family, but now he's going to kind of complain about stuff. That's what he's going to use his time to do.
To allow the state to perform an act of there in the state that I tried to hide everything that I done, and except I didn't do it. I never mentioned that one time that I didn't do it. I told these officers, these deputies, that I done it, and he knows that too. And for whatever reason, the mistake decided he decided not to put up the exhibit.
My heart breaks. Tell me in the chat if this is his daughter. I haven't had time to watch her statement yet.
A number that I requested. He never pulled up the phone records. He never went and asked for the. Have you ever seen a murder trial where there's never been the interview produced to be seen? Not even on TV and A&E movies, but I understand why. He had an agenda, and but at this point in time, I'm objecting to that. I accept the court's decision.
Sustained.
But it's
So he did say that he accepts the court's decision, but that was after the prosecution said objection, because this isn't what this statement is meant to do. And I don't think he realizes the hurt and harm that he's doing to his daughter. And so for survivors like this, there is another YouTube channel. I think his father killed his mother when he was young and he had to testify, and it was a whole thing. He talks about that experience on his channel. When things like this happen, it is a traumatic, tragic, and it's worse when it is somebody you love. So she likely loves her father. She likely loved her mother. And this can really rock a person's sense of self and their sense of the world. And random violence hurts as well, but like when it's somebody you know, when it's somebody that was in your circle, when it's someone that you trusted, it really adds to that hurt and pain.
If there's anyone out there that wants to get to the bottom of it, and you're able to come and really see, you see that.
Sir, you're the one that stabbed her 55 times. But like, so what would somebody else try to like? He did this. But he's not accepting responsibility.
That there's discrepancies here that aren't matching up, and there's so many that I can put you on the trail to, and the kills have been so laying right on the floor. But when you're poor, this man I never saw for almost 4 months. In CRC.
All right, Mr. Madden,
So now he's complaining about his lawyer.
and I'm going to interrupt you. Okay, let's go ahead and get it.
2 days before.
Is he gonna know he's muted?
Now he says, hey, listen, I'm going to be able to prove through logs that I showed up.
Okay,
You don't have to mute it. You don't have to mute it. I'll stop going into detail, but I'll tell you this.
I'm interested in hearing anything that you want to tell me as to why I should give you, how I should sentence you.
Well, I just want you to know this. Come up to my family. All the years, if it did please you to know that somebody is suffering. I don't presume to know the pain that you're going through. I don't presume to know the pain that you're going through, but and I don't understand it. But I can tell you, you don't know the pain that I'm going through, knowing that I'm the one that caused.
But this isn't about you, sir. Like, not
This tragedy, and if there's any solace, there's any silver lining in knowing that when I go to bed, it's on my mind. When I wake up in the morning, it's on my mind. When
it should be. As
Right, we do
as
have
it
to
should be.
pause things.
As it should be. As it should be, sir. I'm gonna skip forward.
it's these feelings, these emotions are
All right. It appears the audio has been turned off at this time. Any objections to that, Mr. Wilder?
To the audio being.
Yes, sir.
No objection to that. I would, if I may.
You
because
may.
we can televise.
Yes, sir.
Without getting into specifics, obviously honoring the attorney-client privilege that I've held with Mr. Madden for 9 months. I could say that the specifics of the before, during, and after were never brought to my attention.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so
So he didn't help his lawyer by telling him what actually happened. I'll just make sure to put the link in the chat, and then I will make sure that this link is in the description as well. If anyone would like to check out this entire one. Like I said, my heart breaks for the family. Legally Blonde, I wasn't aware that. So I saw you mention that you were there in court, and I will have to check out, if you have a channel, I will have to check out your channel. I love connecting with other people that stream and that talk about these topics. This was a difficult one, and I agree with the chat. It seems like he was mostly concerned about himself. And when we look at things like, because a person can be a jerk, but that doesn't necessarily mean, and I don't know enough about his history or enough about this case to really say what potential diagnoses there could be. From his behavior in court, what I saw was possibly using emotions to attempt to manipulate, and using all the emotions: sadness, anger, intimidation. So using all of these things to try to get his way, and it did not work. It did not work at all. And so I truly, truly just think this was a really difficult case. The jury, so yeah, so Sarah, he made a statement that if he went back with if he wasn't shackled and went back around his attorney, that he would physically harm his attorney. He said that to one of the court officers. So that's why he was separate and not back in the courtroom when the verdict was read and all of those things. I agree. It does seem like he's emotionally immature, and that's where there is a book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Children. I also like the book It's Not You by Dr. Romani, because sometimes a child that grows up in an environment with a self-involved, with this type of parent, they can really they can blame themselves for things. They can, because there's often a lot of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, things like that. Because he's likely mad at his attorney and all of this. Same. So Dr. Romani, so she is a leader in the field of treating victims of narcissistic abuse. So I learned how to treat individuals with narcissism during my training, during my 5 years of graduate training and my 1-year internship, and my 1-year postdoc. I never learned about how to help victims of this type of harm. And within the last 2-3 years, I've done additional trainings. Yes. So she has a YouTube channel, and her book is called It's Not You. I have it linked in the self-help section of my Amazon playlist. And so hopefully Nightbot will put my Amazon playlist. That's the goal. Yay. Okay, right there. And so there's also a command to lurk. So like if you want to let everybody know that you're kind of lurking in the chat, Nightbot. Now I obviously can't lurk because it's literally my channel, but there are little commands that you all can use when we are live. I'll have to post those in the community tab at some point. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are going to talk about the Bree Kuhn case. Bree Kuhn case. And so we are going to talk about that one tomorrow. The jury is still deliberating according to this feed on Law and Crime. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't know if they will come back. I don't know if they'll come to anything today. Any book recommendations for adult children of alcoholics? Let me go real quick. Adult. So there are books specifically for adult children of alcoholics. There is a 12-step book. Sometimes there can be a codependence. There can be the secrecy, healing those generational patterns. I really like the book Set Boundaries, Find Peace, because sometimes in a home like that, you don't learn how to set effective boundaries. And the same author also has a book, Drama Free Family, Nedra Glover Tawwab, because with some situations, you can't completely cut your family off. So I will, somebody asked me about the Bree case. And so here is a little quick, just a little quick thing with this one. It's a really, really sad case. Okay. She is a Navy officer, and she is claiming self-defense. The same psychologist, y'all know me in names, Dr. Harper, Dr. Julie Harper down in Florida, also assessed Bree. But she was not called because the Bree would have had to testify. So it would have been hearsay to admit these statements or whatever was said because and they were also claiming PTSD and self-defense. And so it's a really, really interesting case. It's a really, really sad because this was a father. The police had already been to the house hours before, and the victim, her husband, he was on the phone when the allegation is that she shot him in the back 4 times. And he was on the phone with 911, and you hear the first pop, and he says, she shot me. And then you hear 3 more pops, and then you hear nothing. And so we are going to talk about that case tomorrow. She is claiming self-defense. But he calls 911 and he's in a locked garage. Like, she's locked him out the house. And she's in the house with the children. He's in the garage. The allegations is that he was trying to take the children to his family, to his mom, to be with his family in Georgia, not forever, but just for a period of time. And we will see. We will see. The jury has to decide, was it first degree murder? Was it second degree? Or was it manslaughter? And so that's what the jury, or is she not guilty? And was it self-defense? And she's not guilty altogether. Extremely sad case. Her ex-husband testifies, and so we're gonna talk about his testimony. The prosecution called him on rebuttal, and because she called him right after she shot and killed, I believe it's Colin, you'll know me in names, right after she unalived her husband, she called her ex so that he could come and get their daughter. So there was a 12-year-old daughter at the time, and that was not Colin's biological child. I think they had 2 kids together. Y'all know me in numbers. I'm not always great. But there's a ton of video. Trigger warning. So there is one video, there's body cam video, and you see the body. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that we do not, you know, that because it was in the court feed. You see, so the trigger warning for, I'm gonna do my best to make sure that we don't play that part. I'm probably not gonna play because they're showing where the officer found the weapon. She put it behind the toaster. That's weird to me. I don't know. But what do you do after that? I don't know. And so I don't think she knew that he was on the phone with 911 at the time she did what he did, because he was locked out the house in the garage on the phone with someone. And but they had been calling the police on each other multiple times. And we're gonna get to it tomorrow, I promise. I have so many thoughts. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to beat the rain home. I hope y'all have a good one. Bye. After I find the end stream, I have to find that button. Okay, let me find the button. For real this time. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.